All right, taking a quick look at this forming bomb cyclone off of the Carolina coastline. You can see we still have this snow out in western North Carolina, into central South Carolina, eastern parts of Georgia, Tennessee, and Kentucky, and then southwestern portions of Virginia. This is associated with that upper level low that is moving, that was digging south across the region through last night and this morning. And then it's going to transfer its energy to the coast when the troughs, the two pieces of energy are going to phase along the coastline, which they're doing right now. And now that's why this coastal low and that snow associated with the coastal low is starting to overspread eastern portions of North Carolina. And it's going to continue to increase in intensity and coverage throughout the evening. And then along the coastline here in portions of North Carolina, including Cape Hatteras, you might get some blizzard conditions because winds could gust as high as 60 miles per hour while the snow is still falling. It really just depends on how quickly the storm system can intensify and how close it is to the coast as it's intensifying, as to whether or not they may or may not hit those really strong wind gusts while it's still snowing. But models are still suggesting, especially the NAM is suggesting, that it's going to get quite windy along the coast here while it's still snowing before the storm system starts pulling away through the overnight tonight and into the early morning hours tomorrow. Let's take a look at the NAM quick. We're going to take a look at the what the model is showing. So for this video, we're just going to look at the NAM, at least for this storm. I do want to bring up the long range forecast in a little bit, but this is for 1 p.m. So it's, back in the past here. And you can see that this, again, this is the snow that's associated with that upper low that's passing through the region. And this is the snow that's associated with that coastal low, which is rapidly intensifying off of the coastline here. And the snow will continue to increase in intensity and in coverage throughout the evening before the storm does start to wrap up through the overnight. And then by 7, 8 a.m. tomorrow, the snow is all off the coast. And there's really nothing left in terms of the storm. I mean, you're going to have some strong gusty winds, especially along the coastline. Other than that, though, the precipitation is out of there. I want to show you what the wind gusts are showing on here. So here is the 10-meter wind gusts. And I mean, look at this. I mean, along like Cape Hatteras and like along like the coastline, we're talking wind gusts up to 45 miles per hour while it's still snowing. So blizzard conditions are possible through the evening hours. I really don't quite know why they haven't issued blizzard warnings for this area. Um, I I don't understand that. I feel like they are going to meet blizzard condition criteria, so I'm not sure why the National Weather Service has not issued blizzard warnings, especially for far eastern North Carolina. Maybe they see something that I don't, but I do think that blizzard warnings maybe should have been published for this region. So I'm not really quite sure why they haven't. But I do believe that blizzard conditions along the eastern coast of North Carolina through this evening is possible, especially as winds continue to gust pretty strong as the storm system intensifies before it pushes out to sea. Now, I want to talk about up in New England. Let's take a look at upper New England. Tomorrow morning, as the storm continues to track to the north and east, Cape Cod, you might get brushed with some snow. I think it stays within the coating to 2-inch range, but you might get brushed with some of the outer bands of this snow. I mean, it's going to be razor thin. I mean, we knew it was going to be close this entire time, but I mean, it's really close for you guys. But I think that you're going to get brushed with some light snow, maybe a coating to an inch in most places, possibly up to 2, depending on how heavy it is and how long it sits over you guys. But other than that, I mean, it's just going to be in like the morning. So this is at 8 a.m. This is around 9, 10. And then by noon, it really starts to clear out. I mean, you might get some extra snow showers later in the evening as the storm continues to strengthen and move to the north and east. But really, it's not going to be a whole lot of snow for New England. Coating to 2 inches is at best, and that's even a stretch. I feel like with how far. I mean, this storm system is going to be pretty far offshore, but you might get clipped on the tail end of this storm system. Now let's take a look at some of the graphics that I created. So here is the snowfall map that I created, and I'm still thinking an area of 6 to 12 here in South Carolina into North Carolina, along the coast here of North Carolina as well, and then a broader region of 3 to 6 extending on the outside of that, and then a coating to 3-inch range here on the outside. And then I put this up here. I think this can be moved further to the east. I just have not updated it yet. But I think right here is where you could put the line for coating to 2 inches. I mean, I think it's Eastern Cape Cod is where you guys stand the best chance of seeing some of these outer bands of the snow pushing back in. And that's also because you're going to have a negatively tilted trough, and that's going to throw some of that precipitation on the backside into that cold air, allowing you guys to see some of that snow. Not a lot, but you're going to get some. Let's take a look at the current winter weather alerts. You got winter storm warnings across all of North Carolina still, all of South Carolina, a majority of eastern Georgia, portions of eastern Tennessee, Kentucky, southwest Virginia, and southern West Virginia, with winter weather advisories here in purple. And then we have freeze warnings here across southern Georgia into the majority of Florida, portions of Louisiana and Texas. And that's because of this cold Arctic air that has dived southward ahead of this storm system, which is why we're getting snow down this far south, because you had that cold air injection ahead of this storm system, setting up the stage perfectly for snow across the Carolinas. Now, what happens in the extended range? Well, we're going to have an active pattern, and we're going to have multiple shots of cold air across the central and eastern portion of the U.S. We're going to have a negative NAO, a negative AO, and a positive PNA. So you're going to get cold air shots to come down periodically across the central and eastern U.S. It's going to be well below average across the eastern half of the country, and then fairly warm across the western half. And we're going to have energy diving in across the U.S. If we can get some of that energy to interact with that cold air as the cold air injections are coming down and we get energy coming across the country, I think that our best chance right now for widespread snow and ice across the country comes the second week of February. I do believe we're going to be in an active pattern, and we're going to have energy, we're going to have cold air. So I do believe that the second week of February, we really need to be paying attention, because there are some signals on the models. It's not nothing super impressive at this point, but it's a pattern that bears watching, because I think that's when our best chance of widespread snow and ice occurs across the country at this point in the extended range. If anything changes, I will keep you guys updated. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and make sure to drop a like and subscribe.